Man, I've got to be real with you. This Marta Suarez, Flau'jae Johnson draft day trade looks weirder and weirder by the moment. What were the Golden State Valkyries doing? What was the motive for this move? The Golden State Valkyries just released Marta Suarez, but
I have to be completely honest with you. This draft day situation involving Marta Suarez and Flau'jae Johnson is getting stranger by the minute. Everyone is asking the same thing. What exactly were the Golden State Valkyries thinking? What was the actual goal behind this? The Valkyries just officially cut Marta Suarez, and the reaction across the league is a mix of pure shock and total confusion. Nothing they've done here makes any sense, no matter how you try to justify it. They used the 8th overall pick in the 2025 WNBA draft to take Flau'jae Johnson, immediately sent her to Seattle for Marta Suarez and a future 2028 second-round pick, and then released Suarez before she ever stepped on the court. Essentially, Golden State traded a top 10 talent for a second-round pick that won't convey for 3 years. That isn't a strategy for rebuilding. It's a total failure of management. To make matters worse, Flau'jae Johnson just put up 20
weird, interesting moves going down in the WNBA right now. We had a situation where we saw Flau'jae Johnson be drafted number 8 overall. I believe it was either number 7 or 8. I believe number 8 overall to the Golden State Valkyries, and they traded her. I still don't understand why they traded Flau'jae. However, the Seattle Storm got a steal.
The general manager in Seattle admitted they were thrilled to land Johnson because they never imagined she would still be on the board at number 8. In other words, they were stunned that Golden State was actually willing to part with her. That's a terrible look for an expansion team trying to establish itself as a serious franchise. The official word from the Valkyries was that the 8th pick was part of a preset agreement between the teams and had nothing to do with Johnson herself. But that excuse only makes the situation look worse. If this was the plan all along, it means Golden State purposefully set up a deal to draft a player they didn't want, swap her for someone they intended to fire immediately, and walk away with virtually nothing. That isn't a sophisticated plan. It's just poor decision-making disguised as a long-term strategy.
After Valkyries waive Marta Suarez. Okay, here it says one of the most eyebrow-raising trades in recent WNBA history just got a little bit weirder. Golden State waived Marta Suarez, the rookie it acquired after giving up Flau'jae Johnson in a draft day trade with the Seattle Storm. The Valkyries announced Saturday. Okay, and here it says Johnson was selected number 8 overall by the Valkyries in the 2026 draft, while Suarez was taken by the Storm at 16. But a stunning prearranged trade swapped the two.
Some observers tried to claim this was about clearing salary cap space. The idea was that Golden State didn't want to pay an 8th pick salary, so they moved down for a more affordable player at 16. But that logic fails because they didn't even keep the cheaper player. By waiving Marta Suarez, they didn't save any money at all, so the salary dump argument is completely invalid. Others suggested the roster was simply too crowded with forwards like Kayla Thornton, Letitia Amihir, and the new signing from Seattle, Gabby Williams. However, that reasoning is flawed too. Flau'jae Johnson is a 6 feet 1 inch athlete who can play multiple roles on the floor. She isn't a limited post player who takes up space. She is the exact kind of flexible wing that every team in the WNBA is looking for right now. You don't pass on a talent like that just because you brought in a 31-year-old veteran.
This was a mind-boggling trade. This made no sense on behalf of the Golden State Valkyries at all. You give up a Flau'jae Johnson for a second-round pick and a player you don't even keep on the roster. It made no sense for the Golden State Valkyries. The Seattle Storm absolutely fleeced them. That is what you call getting fleeced. But I believe that there is some good.
Looking at Suarez herself, she is a 6 feet 3 inches forward out of TCU who played alongside Olivia Miles. She's a legitimate threat who can hit the 3, work the pick and pop, and handle the ball in tight spaces, bringing real size to the perimeter. She wasn't a project or a maybe player. She earned that 16th pick for a reason. The real sting in this situation is that Suarez might just end up signing back with Seattle anyway. If that happens, Golden State will have traded away the 8th overall pick for absolutely nothing in return. No financial relief, no talent, and no future assets. Just a gaping hole on the roster and a mountain of questions about who is actually calling the shots in that front office.
Keep all 8,213 of these guards that you brought onto the roster. So you need to go ahead, cut some of these guards, and bring in Marta Suarez. If you like Justine Passat, you should like Marta Suarez, because I don't think Marta Suarez is as talented of a pure shooter, but Marta Suarez was a much better player in college than Justine Passat was. Obviously, they're keeping Justine Passat on a developmental deal. I think Marta Suarez is good enough to make the actual roster and be a contributor with her size.
This is where things get very interesting for the rest of the league. The Indiana Fever should be jumping at this opportunity. Their current roster has 13 guards, which is a bizarre way to build a team that is supposed to be centered around Caitlin Clark. They are desperate for size, shooting, and players who can thrive in a fast-paced offense without needing to dominate the ball. Marta Suarez fits that description perfectly. Having spent 2 years at TCU playing with a high-usage point guard like Olivia Miles, she knows exactly how to move without the ball, find open spaces for shots, and make the right pass instead of forcing the action. That is precisely what Indiana needs next to Clark. If you look at Suarez compared to someone like Justine Peters, who Indiana recently signed to a camp deal, the choice is clear. Peters is a good shooter, but at 6 feet 1 inch, she doesn't offer the same physical presence. Suarez is 2 inches taller, has experience against elite Big 12 competition, and shows much more versatility. If you like Peters, you should absolutely love what Suarez brings to the table.
Move that the Indiana Fever should absolutely be looking to get done. Okay. Let me see here. So, the Indiana Fever, they finished up their preseason game, and they've got to make some cuts. And I think that they should go ahead, get rid of Timmons, get rid of all them guards that you don't need, man. Like get rid of them guards you don't need. Keep Raven Johnson, Shatori Walker, Kimbrough. I don't care. Just keep the guards you need. Obviously, they're gonna keep Ty Harris. Ty Harris is coming back, making her way back from a big injury, but I'm not going crazy over Ty Harris.
The real question is whether the front office in Indiana is sharp enough to grab this chance. Given their history over the last year, there is reason to be worried. This is the same team that waited way too long to move on from a coach who had lost the players' respect. This is the same management that put together a lopsided roster with 8 guards and only 2 real post players. These decision-makers always seem to be one step behind everyone else. Having Stephanie White back as head coach is definitely a move in the right direction, and while Amber Cox has a spotted track record, she is now leading the front office. The Fever have made a few decent moves, but they've also missed out on some very obvious wins. Letting a player like Marta Suarez sign somewhere else without even trying to recruit her would be very on-brand for them.
Aaliyah Boston is back. Aaliyah Boston looked healthy, but I just feel like a Marta Suarez move will help the team because it would eliminate me having to worry about Dantas getting in these games. I just got to keep it real. Marta Suarez is probably better than Michaela Timpson. Marta Suarez is better than Justine Passat. Marta Suarez is better than Dantas to me. I think she could.
Let's look at the reality of the situation. Indiana has to trim their roster before the season kicks off anyway. They have Temi Fagbennel returning from injury, which is a plus, but she hasn't played competitive basketball in over a year. They have an overflow of guards, many of whom will never see the court once the real games begin. There are roster spots being wasted on redundant players that could be used for much-needed versatility. Cutting 2 bench guards to sign Marta Suarez would immediately raise this team's potential. It would give them a real weapon to put on the floor with Clark when they need both height and outside shooting. She would be perfect insurance if Aaliyah Boston gets into foul trouble. Most importantly, she's a player who is happy to contribute without needing a high volume of touches.
The front office that we watched be a complete debacle and a clown show. Will they make the move? Probably not, guys. They probably won't make the move. And that's unfortunate because this is an opportunity that I see right here laying in the weeds for this team to get better, and I don't think they'll take advantage of it. It sounds like Marta Suarez might end up back in Seattle. This is one of the most mind-boggling moves in the history of trades. I have no idea what the Golden State Valkyries GM was doing. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think.
But let's be realistic about what will likely happen. Indiana will probably stick to their original plan because they are hesitant to change course now. They'll keep the extra guards simply because they are already there, and letting them go feels like an admission of a mistake. They'll use buzzwords like chemistry and continuity, while Marta Suarez signs with a team like Seattle. In a couple of years, we'll likely watch her helping a contender in the playoffs while Indiana is still searching for a wing who can actually shoot. In the 2025 WNBA, things move fast because there is so much talent and so few spots. Successful teams adapt. Struggling teams stay stuck in their ways. Golden State messed up so badly they've become a punchline, turning a top pick into nothing and hurting their reputation. But their failure is a gift for someone else. Marta Suarez is a high-value player available right now. Whoever signs her will have made the best move of the off-season. We're about to see if Indiana has the vision to make it happen. If they pass on this just because it wasn't the original plan, we'll know they are the team that had a superstar like Caitlin Clark but couldn't figure out how to give her the help she needed. The clock is ticking. Will Indiana make the move, or will they spend the next few years wondering, what if? Drop your thoughts below. Would you make room for Suarez, or stay the course? This choice will tell us everything about the future of this franchise.